Hello popcorn junkies, welcome to this Oscar nominations breakdown. I'm going to have to be honest right up front. We are literally struggling to contain our excitement given the fact that the Tunisian-made film about the genocide in Palestine, or specifically about the 6-year-old girl murdered alongside her family by the Israeli Defense Forces, The Voice of Hind Rajab, has been nominated in the category for Best International Picture. This is astonishing news for the Academy and all the voters in the Academy to recognise that it's significant and important enough to be nominated alongside some of the other films in that category. For us is just sensational news. We've been campaigning on behalf of the Palestinians for the last 2 years, 2.5 years almost. And so to have some kind of recognition, it doesn't change the fact that the genocide is ongoing. There is no ceasefire. But again, it speaks to the power of storytelling. So I want to lead with that. That's the great news from this year's Academy Awards. What we're going to do, or what I'm going to do, is move through some of the kind of, they say lesser categories. I hate that phrase. For me, the interesting categories are the cinematography, the music, the editing, etc., etc. But I realise for the vast majority of people, the mainstream, you're interested in the actors, maybe interested in the directors, but also interested in Best Picture and stuff like that. But I am going to tiptoe through the sort of the more technical categories, as you like. I'm going to start with Best Visual Effects. I can't say that I'm au fait with all the films in this category. I don't think I'm au fait with any of them. Best Visual Effects, you've got Avatar, Fire and Ash, F1, the Brad Pitt Formula 1 film, Jurassic World Rebirth, which I saw, The Lost Bus, and Sinners. Sinners has, I think it's important, maybe this is the moment to say, Sinners has broken all records with something like, I think it's got 16 nominations, which I think is a record. It really is. I think the film beneath it to have scored, 14 nominations was All About Eve in 1950, Titanic in 1997, and La La Land in 2017. But no film has ever received 16 nominations. Now that could really sort of indicate which way the Oscars are going to go this year. I liked it, but I felt it was a film that fell victim to the hype surrounding it, if I'm really honest. Best Costume Design. In that category, we've got Hamnet, we've got Marty Supreme, Avatar, not seen, Frankenstein, have seen, and Sinners. And if I'm really honest, whilst Hamnet feels like an obvious standout because of the Shakespearean, period costume, etc., etc., and Frankenstein is luxurious, it's elaborate, it's fairy tale-esque and everything else. I think Frankenstein might edge it in this category. Sinners is great, but it does fall foul of becoming almost like a Colonel Abraham's Bobby Brown front cover sort of design by the end of it. I personally would go for a film like Marty Supreme. I thought its recreation of the 50s, 60s was absolutely sensational. Which brings us now to Best International Film. As I've already indicated, Tunisia's, though really it's Palestine's, The Voice of Hind Rajab is in there, Sirat from Spain, Sentimental Value, excellent film, from Norway, It Was Just an Accident from France, and The Secret Agent from Brazil. I haven't seen any of the other films in the category other than Voice of Hind Rajab and Sentimental Value. I know Sentimental Value is a sensational film, but really we all have to be rooting for The Voice of Hind Rajab. Never a more important film has there been made, and it interestingly sort of navigates that sort of the dividing line between documentary and drama. It's not quite docudrama, because there could be an argument, should it then sit in the documentary section, but a brilliant piece of filmmaking. And it's not just the power and awfulness of the central story, it's a really skillful piece of filmmaking too. Best film editing, we've got One Battle After Another, Sinners, Marty Supreme, F1, the movie, and Sentimental Value. I can't, with any sort of stretch of the imagination, say that Sentimental Value deserves best editing. It's always a curious category, best film editing, because one assumes it's got to be about complicated editing, i.e. lots of editing. The art of editing is to make your craft completely invisible. I mean, really, the art of all parts of filmmaking, the technical parts of filmmaking, are about denying they've happened in the first place. If you're sat there going, oh, this looks like this, though you can marvel at it, theoretically, they haven't done a good job. You need to be immersed, you need to forget the way in which the film is kind of making you feel. Editing, quite specifically, is about generating emotion and what have you, and all films are edited. But I can't say that Sentimental Value stands out to me as a complicated or inspiringly edited film. I would say this is a toss-up for me between Marty Supreme and One Battle After Another. You're aware that the editing is getting you into a state of paranoiac urgency and stress and what have you, but you're not looking at the editing, you're not sort of feeling the editing, you are just being driven and hurled ever forward. And while Sinners again, was beautifully edited. I think that was much more about set pieces. It was less done in the edit, more done in the, like, for example, the incredible musical kind of history of music in the barn sequence. Yeah, there's editing in it. Of course, editing is in everything. But for me, that was much more about music. It was much more about camera operating, director of photography, cinematography, less about editing. So for me, I can't put a piece of paper between One Battle After Another and Marty Supreme. But if this is Sinners' year, this could be the kind of category it clears up in that category too. Best cinematography, we've got Frankenstein, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and interestingly, Train Dreams. Now, Frankenstein looks beautiful, but I do think what Frankenstein falls foul of is when something's made by Netflix, none of us really know how much of it is just the Netflixification. It started well, Frankenstein, but then the look of it ended up looking like Wednesday, ended up looking like lots of other things on Netflix, which interestingly, Train Dreams was also a Netflix film. Of these 5, it depends on what sort of cinematography you're after. Train Dreams, epic, elegiac, romantic, beautiful, big wides, nature, contemplative, etc. Beautiful. Sinners, dark reds and kind of urgency, and a lot of it shot in dark, a lot of kind of firelight and stuff like that, very complicated to pull off and achieve. One Battle After Another, always very urgent, grainy, granular, very sort of mucky, not too dissimilar, I mean, in a weird way, to Marty Supreme, so they're both of the same type. If I was going for a winner in this category, if I was going for elegiac, it would have to be Train Dreams. If I was going for kind of the grimy, gritty, grisly stuff of the others, I would probably go for Marty Supreme, personally. Best animated feature this year, can't say I've seen any of them, sadly. K-pop Demon Hunters, everyone's gone fucking mad about that film. Zootopia 2, desperately wanted to get to see it, but sometimes you've just got to knock a kid's classic cartoon off your schedule. Arco, Elio, and Little Amelie, or the character of Rain. Maybe you guys have got your favourites there that you'd like to win. Best original soundtrack, we've got Begonia, we've got Frankenstein, Hamnet, we've got One Battle After Another, and Sinners. Again, I think Sinners could win this. Music was a huge staple part of Sinners. The strange thing for me about Sinners was it didn't all necessarily gel together and hit me in the way that I think it hit some. But if it's hit the Academy like it's hit most people, then I think Sinners could be a shoe in it. Hamnet with Max Richter. I think the danger and the problem with Max Richter as a composer is many people sort of feel it's too manipulative, emotionally manipulative. It seems to be one of the main criticisms coming at Hamnet. I mean, all films are manipulative, right? I personally, on this in this list, would go for Begonia. It was an absolute surprise for me, and the soundtrack is so kind of odd and weird and discordant. I'm surprised and I'm disappointed, if I'm really honest, that Eddington isn't in there too. Best adapted screenplay, which basically means a screenplay based on a book, based on a play, potentially sometimes based on another film. We've got One Battle After Another, because it's a Thomas Pynchon. Hamnet, based on the Margaret O'Farrell. Train Dreams, based on the Dennis Lehane, is it? Dennis Lehane? Begonia, which is also based on a book, and Frankenstein, of course, based on Mary Shelley. I haven't read all the originals of these, so I'm in no position to know how well they're adapted. Of the 5 films, I would want to go for, I don't know, I think One Battle After Another might be the win in this section. They're all valid, but I think One Battle After Another or Hamnet, this could be the kind of, sometimes the adapted screenplay category is where a film that many people feel ought to win all the big categories gets given this one so that it walks away with something. Best original screenplay, Sinners, Marty Supreme, Sentimental Value, It Was Just an Accident, which I haven't seen, and Blue Moon, which I also haven't seen. I think for best original screenplay, in many regards, Marty Supreme should win here. But again, I've got a funny feeling, given the sheer number of nominations for Sinners, that Sinners could end up winning best original screenplay. So now we get into the acting categories. And there's some really quite nice surprises in these. Best supporting actress, Tiana Taylor for One Battle After Another. Remarkable. I'm so pleased. She so richly deserves that. She's sensational throughout the film. Amy Madigan, who plays the mad aunt in Weapons. I mean, it's a real turn. It really is a real turn. And wow, a female actress of a certain age, over a certain age, muscling her way into the best supporting actress category. I love this nomination. Ingle Engelbresdotter-Liljas. I'm going to look forward to if she wins, someone pronouncing her name, or when they read the nominations even. She plays the younger sister in Sentimental Value. It's a beautiful performance. It is a stunning performance. In fact, the representation of a sibling relationship, sisterly relationship in that film is just to die for. Wunmi Masaku in Sinners, and Ellie Fanning also in Sentimental Value. Now, interestingly, 2 nominations for Sentimental Value in that category. And for me, I think it has to be Engelbresdotter-Liljas for me. I mean, Ellie Fanning's very good, but wow, the younger sister, she's something else. Best Supporting Actor, Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value. Benicio del Toro for One Battle After Another. Peace, Cold River, Seas, whatever it is he says. You know, sensei, isn't he? He's kind of like the chilled yogi kind of migrant helper. Sean Penn, also in One Battle After Another. A curious, odd, twisted, weird, jarring kind of, juddering kind of performances and kind of all sorts of kind of paroxysms of kind of weirdness. I mean, it's such a strange performance, but it really deserves to be recognised. Jacob Elordi, I'm not too sure about that, in Frankenstein. I mean, he's good, but he's kind of good, but it's more a sort of choreographed performance. And Delroy Lindo in Sinners. Again, Sinners could here clear up in the supporting actor categories, but I've got a feeling it's going to be, Best Supporting Actor, my call on this is going to be either Sean Penn or Stellan Skarsgård. Best Actor in a Leading Role, Michael B. Jordan, Sinners, Leonardo DiCaprio, One Battle After Another, Timothy Chalamet, Marty Supreme, Wagner Moura, The Secret Agent, and Ethan Hawke, Blue Moon. Fantastic. I'm watching Ethan Hawke in The Lowdown, and I'm really enjoying it, actually. It's getting better and stronger as a series. I don't know if any of you guys have watched it. I've got a feeling, again, just because Sinners has got 16 nominations doesn't necessarily mean it's going to win all of them. If I was going for the performance, for me, it's a toss-up between not having seen Ethan Hawke or Wagner Moura. It's a toss-up between, for me, Leonardo or Timothy Chalamet. It's not that Michael B. Jordan isn't good in Sinners, but I didn't feel it was particularly original performance. It didn't sort of strive towards, I don't know, uncomfortable kind of territories for him as a performer. I'd go for Leonardo or Timothy. Best Actress in a Leading Role, Jessie Buckley, Hamnet. Rose Byrne, If I Had Legs I'd Kick You, the new A24 sort of twisted comedy coming soon. Kate Hudson, Song Sung Blue, that's where they play the tribute band, fantastic. Renata Reins in Sentimental Value, and Emma Stone in Begonia. Emma Stone is sensational. Begonia is a brilliant film. It was my second favourite film of the year. I think this is going to go to Jessie Buckley. If it does, wow, remarkable. If the Academy isn't as enamoured with Hamnet as, say, the rest of other award seasons are, this could, interestingly, I think, we could have an upset in this category. It could go to Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs I'd Kick You. I haven't seen that film yet, but I'm hearing lots of great things about it. Best Director, Paul Thomas Anderson, One Battle After Another, Ryan Coogler, Sinners, Chloe Zhao, Hamnet, Josh Safdie, Marty Supreme, and Joachim Trier for Sentimental Value. I think this could be Paul Thomas Anderson's prize. I'm not too sure. Has he won before? I think it could be. If not, I'd be really keen to see Josh Safdie win Best Director too. Best Picture, we have always an extended list. One Battle After Another, Sinners, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, Frankenstein, Sentimental Value, Train Dreams, Begonia, The Secret Agent, and F1. I think this is a toss-up between 4 films. One Battle After Another, Marty Supreme, Sinners, and Hamnet. The outsider on this could be Sentimental Value, but I don't think Frankenstein, however beautiful Train Dreams is, I don't think Train Dreams. Begonia, just too weird, though brilliant. The Secret Agent, haven't seen, and Formula One, just too generic, I think. What do you think, guys? Paul Mescal, noticeable by his absence, not nominated alongside Hamnet getting quite a few awards. Wicked Forever, or For Good, or whatever it's called, the sequel to Wicked, the sequel. Nothing anywhere, not even in costumes, not even in sort of makeup or anything like that. Quite something. And 16 nominations for Sinners. And as I say, the voice of Hindrajab looking pretty damn tasty. With Sinners at 16 nominations. After that, you got One Battle After Another with 13, Marty Supreme with 9, Frankenstein with 9, Sentimental Value with 9, and Hamnet with 8. Share your thoughts below. What do you think should win? What do you think will win? And what do you think's been ignored?